Hello everyone and welcome to Spoiler Warning featuring myself, Tom Colohue. We're a little bit laid back and chilled out today. I'm just out of the bath and I'm feeling nice and clean and chill. But we still have plenty of news to talk to you about. We're going to be talking about the status of Paige, which has already been discussed in the chat, but we'll get to it. We're going to talk about a few more names on Triple H's list. Pardon me. A few names of people that that may or may not have been asking for their releases recently. A bit more on the breadcrumb trail for the White Rabbit and AEW's cost cutting before a little bit of a channel update about what's going to be going on into the rest of the year. Welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Tom Colohue and this is Spoiler Warning. So our headline piece of news is of course Triple H. He has been accused of trying to poach AEW talent and the accusations continue this time around with encouragement supposedly for people to ask for their releases. This covers a variety of ills and a variety of different names. A lot of people apparently going to be asking for their releases soon, but very few have already asked for their releases as we speak. We were already aware of what happened with, for example, Aleister Black. We did discuss here that he would be leaving despite the fact that his initial request to be released was turned down. He does have an interest in returning to the WWE and they've pitched some good storylines, so he won't be able to pop up just yet. We do have more coming. More people are likely to request their release, and AEW is particularly keeping an eye on a few people, most notably names such as Keith Lee, Ruby Soho, and the former Ember Moon. A number of people very interested in leaving AEW to return to work with Triple H, people who weren't necessarily unhappy that they had to leave the WWE. Also on that list, people who've been added to the list of Triple H desires, as it were, that we previously discussed: William Regal and Samoa Joe. And if you guys have seen the thumbnail for this, those names will not surprise you even in the slightest. Let's catch up with the chat a little bit. We still have plenty more to discuss. I'll see if any of it's in the chat and then I'll move on. James Stewart, welcome. Said, did not realise last night was Thursday and sat watching for Spoiler Warning at 9 p.m. That is dedication, and I'm upset that we don't get more people doing exactly that. Just sitting alone in a dark room, waiting for me to turn up on their TV screen. How dare people know? How dare people know? We have Simon immediately asking about Sasha, and also asking about Saraya, formerly Paige. Thank you very kindly, Ed, for renewing your membership on the YouTube side for a 6th month. You are the very first subscriber on Twitch. You were the very first subscriber on well, not the very first subscriber, the very first channel member on YouTube, and I do very much appreciate you renewing that and continuing to believe in the wonder of Tom Colohue channels. Sid says, nice to see you again. Sorry, one sec. Nice to see you again, old friend. Tonight should be pretty big in wrestling. Why? Why would it be big? Traffic says, good evening, Tom. Hope all is well. Welcome, Traffic. All is very well, thank you. And Mick Hennell says, hey, man, it's 9/23 day. Yes, and on 9/23, the WWE have released a brand new breadcrumb, which points to Monday Night's Raw, which suggests that, you know, you're looking at 9/23, you're also going to need to be watching Raw and then probably SmackDown. It says 9/23 at 9/23 is going to be the biggest spike in recent times for just another promo video. Yep. It'll be another breadcrumb. We all know it. We all know it. Monique says, hi, Tom. Mick says, how are you doing? Hope you had the best day possible. I had a very good day. Thank you. Very glad to be here. And Timothy says, what's up, Tom? Things are very much up and things are very much looking up. Continuing to do so. Thank you kindly, everyone, for asking. Please remember to hit like if you haven't already and subscribe if you haven't already as well. Kieran says, yo. Spider-Boss says, hello, Tom. Who do you see winning the Fight Pit match? Rollins or Matt Riddle? I see Matt Riddle winning this one. And then the feud can finish in Saudi Arabia, as Seth's feuds tend to. Wiggly's talking about England being crap at football. What else is new? Spider-Boss says, Wrestling News Inc. reported, they didn't, that Bobby Fish tried to convince Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly to leave AEW to go back to WWE. They did not report that. That was reported by a moderator on the Wrestling Observer forum. A moderator who has previously reported other things, which Dave Meltzer, the big news guy on Wrestling Observer, has said is not true. Kieran says, I don't think England can make it out of the groups. Yep, pretty much. Eddie says, welcome back, Tom. Welcome back, mate. Brad says, hi, Tom. Hello, Brad. Austin says, saw a new picture of Bray training. Looks in really, really good shape. Where was that picture? Can you let me know, Austin? Spider-Boss says, is Saraya, formerly known as Paige, cleared to wrestle? I hope she succeeds in AEW. She is not currently cleared to wrestle. They had her appear before they were able to actually formally assess her, and at this point they've decided not to clear her just yet. There was no intention for WWE doctors to clear Paige, which is why, of course, she never returned. AEW doctors, however, are known to be a little more lenient on the basis that WWE doctors, because of the name redacted situation, have always been overly cautious of anything involving head and neck. The main reason names such as Edge and Daniel Bryan were cleared was because they were going elsewhere, and Vince McMahon doesn't like that. Eric says, do you see Paige being a wrestler? No, because she hasn't been cleared, though she may be in the near future. Also, when do you think Zelina Vega and Charlotte come back? When Zelina is cleared, she will return. As regards Charlotte, they continue to push it back to make room for a rebrand and a reimagining. Hello, Cam, how are you? King Zandy's asking anything new on Sasha and updates on the women's War Games. I'd imagine by updates on the women's War Games, you're asking any news on Sasha. So same question twice. I've already stated several times I will not be providing any further updates on Sasha unless something changes. We are so close to the return that at this point it would just be a spoiler. Eddie says Andrade, Miro's name has been mentioned. Murphy has been mentioned. Keith Lee has been mentioned. Adam Cole, Cesaro and Samoa Joe has been mentioned. My bets, Tom. To be clear, the names I'm speaking about are coming out of WWE, not coming out of AEW. It is still rumour at this point. Happy birthday, Cam. Great to see you. Bayley says, hello, Tom. Where do you see CM Punk in 2023? At home. Noob says, hello. Welcome. Welcome. Moxie says, what's good, Tom? Lots of things. It's a very good time to be Tom Colohue, as you guys know. We're on a bit of a chill stream today. A bit more laid back, trying to preserve my voice, as it were. We are, of course, still going to be streaming a watch party for SmackDown later on today. And we do still have more news to come, though I've covered most of it as regards the questions already coming through. Steve says, hello, Mr. Colohue. Hope you're doing well, sir. Doing very well, thank you, Steve. And you as well. Michael says, hi, Tom. Welcome, Michael. Venom says, hi, Tom. How are you? Doing very, very well, thank you. Very, very well. Welcome to yourself. Martin Shadow Wolf says, today is my first comment here, third stream. Great work, Tom. Is there a chance for Adam Cole? There's always a chance. There is definitely interest in returning, but Adam Cole is believed to be very happy in AEW at this point in time. Noob says, your thoughts on Paige, aka Saraya, debuting in AEW. It's a good place for her to land. They will undoubtedly use her in a way that she was not going to be used in the WWE, likely as management or some sort of GM position. Even just as commentary, I think she'd fit in very well there. Spider-Boss says William Regal was a big part of NXT Black and Gold. Since risking his job for WWE signing Sasha to his role as GM on TV, it would be cool to see Regal in WWE. There is definite interest in having him come back, at the very least having him return on the day that they formally announce War Games. But the fact that they have already announced War Games suggests that maybe they are not able to do so. William Regal, to my knowledge, is very happy in the current situation that he's in over on AEW. Stuart says, evening, Tom. Welcome, Stuart. And Thomas also says, evening, Tom. Welcome. Monique says, it seems like Adam Cole is wanting to go. That is not the case. Salmon says, any news on Carmella return from injury? Not at this point. Becky Lynch is close. Randy Orton's fairly close. Big E and Cody are more likely waiting for around Royal Rumble time. As regards Carmella, we are very close already to that point. It is just a case of getting her back in the ring. Sean says, does Tony have proof Triple H has done this? He does not have proof, but he does have the word of several wrestlers. At least he believes he does. Tommy says, happy SmackDown Day. Thank you, Tommy, and happy SmackDown Day to you. Kieran says, I just assumed she was because she said ages ago on stream that she was very close to being cleared. Yeah, I'm sure she did say that. However, WWE doctors had no interest in clearing her. Now, of course, AEW doctors may be very different, but I can say right now, she is not cleared. Austin says, the ringside roster, wrestling news and rumour. I don't know what you're saying. Oh, right, that was a source. Thank you. Spider-Boss says, I think Saraya, formerly known as Paige, could work as Toni Storm's manager. Meanwhile, she isn't clear. Does Toni Storm need a manager? I don't believe she does. Michael says Triple H wants to raid AEW. He does. He has a lot of people he's worked with there, a lot of great talent he wants to work with again. So there's definite interest in returning to the scene of the crime, as it were. Sean says Tony must be wanting to keep Moxley very bad. He's made him world champion 3 times. Yeah, absolutely correct. Steve says, did you see Ronda Rousey comment on our Twitch stream, guessing that the White Rabbit could be a Bray Wyatt return? I did see that. I actually do pop into Ronda Rousey's streams every now and then. I like that she's chatty. I like that she just jumps in. I like that every now and then I'll respond to a tweet of hers and she'll click like. She's very connective, as it were, in the wrestling world, which, considering the amount of hate she gets, is quite impressive. It was a guess on her part. Nobody in the locker room has any particular knowledge about Bray Wyatt, and the only real knowledge that's got out there is what has been reported initially by yours truly. Cam, the reason they didn't bring back Cameron is because they didn't want to bring back Cameron. There was initially talk of that happening. They didn't do it. They didn't do it for a reason. They actually don't want to work with her. It could be fitness. It could be something like that. It could be history of injury. It could be that they just don't have any storylines beyond you're going to come in and back up Naomi. There could be 1,000,001 things. But they just don't want Cameron. I don't see how Sasha and Naomi actually fit into this. I think you're just throwing names out there. Wiggly says, to let you know, so there was another wrestling channel I followed the other night. They started talking about name redacted and basically, well, you know how it goes. Everything's okay to celebrate. When I pointed out that was distasteful, I got banned from the stream and called an effing R word. Yep. I don't know what that wrestling channel will have been, but maybe it's somewhere we should avoid in future. If you wish to name them, by all means do so. If not, I get it. Eddie says, do you see Kenny Omega finally in WWE? His contract expires in February 2023. Nope. I see him in New Japan if he does not wish to continue in AEW. Will says, I'm not surprised that so many wrestlers may want to go back to WWE, but do they trust him that much? Yes. Yes, they do. Spider-Boss says at the end, Tom, you were right. CM Punk is a flight risk. And looking at the situation in AEW just made me say Tom was right all along. Yeah. Anyone who really paid attention to CM Punk knew full well exactly how this was going to go. Exactly how it was going to go. Steve says, I'd like to see Saraya managing Jamie Hayter if Saraya can't be cleared to wrestle. Even if she could be cleared to wrestle, I'd still like to see her in management. She's a very smooth talker and carries incredible name value. I don't think she's exactly going to improve the women's division if she can't wrestle, but she certainly could be booking it. I'd have her involved in the booking. Female voices in the locker room, female voices in the writer's room can be very beneficial. Venom, you don't know it's not happening, so let's stay calm, shall we? Justin says, how concerned should Bliss fans be that if Bray returns she will go back to her Fiend dark BS? Not that concerned, because ultimately if she goes back to that it's because she chooses to, in which point we have to sort of accept the fact that she's happy. I know that's not always something that people want to hear, but if she's happy in that character, it really doesn't matter what we think. Simon says, Liv is wrestling versus Lacey tonight on SmackDown. So excited, Liv's first SmackDown match in 5 weeks. Well, Lacey is a heel, so it'll be interesting to see how she plays that. Very interesting. Eric, welcome. Says, Tom, any news on if they're going to do the King and Queen of the Ring this year? Nope, they will not be doing a King or Queen of the Ring this year. No plans at this point in time. That could change, potentially, but as far as I can tell, Triple H is just too busy getting fight pits and war games to really worry too much about a King and Queen of the Ring. Also, he doesn't really want to have the final in Saudi Arabia again. Wiggly says, Tony Khan accusing Triple H makes him sound like a crazy paranoid despot. To be fair, Tony Khan was not the original person to put the accusation forward. The original report that Triple H had been contacting AEW wrestlers came from Fightful, I believe. Thomas says, who do you see announcing the War Games matches? Do you believe it will be done by a non-wrestler or just by a wrestler? I think the person likely to announce the War Games matches will be Triple H himself, though of course he has already announced them. Joey says, hey Tom, Dave Meltzer reported more AEW wrestlers requested their releases. Do you know who it may be? I have spoken a little bit about that. Pardon me. A little bit about that earlier. My thumbnail may give a hint that there has been contact with William Regal and Samoa Joe. There is also reportedly, at least from the WWE side, the belief that releases were requested by names such as Keith Lee, Ruby Soho, and the former Ember Moon. Make of that what you will, that is what I've been told. Spider-Boss says Tony Khan has been a bit sensitive since Triple H is in charge in WWE. I don't think it's since then. I think it's been a bit sensitive the whole time. Michael says, I'm so ready for someone new to be AEW champion. Well, it needs to be MJF at this point, doesn't it? Needs to be MJF. Because if it's Moxley again, you got to believe he's going to be a transitional champion for the second time. Timothy says, how are you doing, Tom? Doing very well, thank you, Timothy. Hope you're well as well. Steve says, I shall ask if any updates for Zelina Vega. She is about cleared. They just wanted to come back into the office, essentially, get cleared with a physical, and then she'll be back. They're just waiting to actually have a plan for her as well. And also, she may or may not have requested some time off to spend with her husband to make sure he's okay. The WWE tend to look after him for that. Tend to look after people for that. Simon is asking about Sasha. Wiggly says, I'll mention the stream on the Discord. Thank you, Wiggly. Appreciate that. Spider-Boss says, do you think that the addition of Saraya can improve the AEW women's division? It depends what you mean by improve. I don't think it's going to improve the wrestling quality because I don't think she's going to wrestle. However, when it comes to storylines, that will be beneficial. That will be very beneficial. When it comes to promos, I think that will be beneficial. It's an area that AEW continue to be quite sloppy in. They could do with improving that. Jaden says, hey Tom, did I miss anything? Yes, you did. Simon, no, I didn't know the Paige was debuting, but I did know there'd been some negotiation ongoing. Joey says, is it true that Bobby Fish tried to get Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly to request their releases? I've heard absolutely nothing about this. Absolutely nothing. Jaden is asking Simon if Paige will wrestle. Sean says, according to the betting odds by Bet Online, Bianca is currently the favourite to beat Bayley at Extreme Rules, and Rhonda is a heavy favourite to win. Yes, she is. I do strongly believe that this is a moment that Rhonda will regain that championship. It was only ever a matter of time. Patrick Wendell is asking for a Discord link. Let me just grab that for you. Once I remember how to do it. You got to invite people, copy server link, and then you post that right there into the YouTube. We do have ourselves a Discord. If you're not there already, by all means, check it out. I tend to let people know that a show is coming ahead of time in there. Any changes, like the change to our Wednesday show time, was listed in there. Ed right behind me doing the exact same thing. Thank you kindly, Ed, as well. And there is plenty more that we discuss on the Discord. Tends to be you get a little more news there than you do elsewhere. Hector says, I may be in the minority, but I don't really pop or get excited for Saraya, formerly known as Paige's debut. Maybe it's because she's not wrestled or have been on TV for so long, and I don't really watch AEW. Also, Tony Khan hasn't really given me the benefit of the doubt that he can book women and former WWE women in general right. The women's division has not been fantastic in AEW, hasn't been at any point in time. There's certainly a couple of good wrestlers and wrestlers who are able to tell good stories, but they just haven't been given the framework to perform as you might expect. So I get what you're saying. I get that, Venom, but still, I wouldn't get too annoyed by it. Now, when people come in here and said, is Bray returning tonight? I'd say no. And that was proven right. They'd come in and once again, is Bray returning tonight? Nope. You get it more and more that I would just say no. It's one of those things where the more people asked, the more correct reports I would share. So I can't argue much. Spider-Boss says, I thought Bryan Danielson was winning on Dynamite, but Mox won. Tony Khan really wants to keep Mox at all costs. You may be onto something there. Shadow Wolf says, is a Tenille Dashwood return to WWE possible, or is it more likely for her to reunite with Madison Rayne in AEW? I don't believe at this point either are more likely than the other. I think at this point, Triple H is a fan of Tenille, formerly Emma, but they never came up with a decent storyline. They never came up with a decent storyline. So I'm not entirely sure it would work out. Vegeta says, hi Tom, welcome Vegeta. Michael says, I could do without Jericho being Ring of Honor champion. I do think this cheapens it slightly, but he's undoubtedly there to pass the belt on to someone else. Cesaro did not have a long run, did he? Suggests there's a possibility that he may also be planning to leave. Wiggly, I'm not sure why Bryan Danielson didn't get the title. It could be as simple as him not being booked to do so. It could be that they want someone to be a transitional champion in the form of Jon Moxley, or it could be that they're planning another Jon Moxley versus CM Punk match. Who knows? Spider-Boss says the 25th anniversary of DX will be celebrated on the Raw in New York on October 10th, not long at all. Monique says Ruby Soho makes the most sense because of the way she's used. Yeah, she's a name that's been mentioned to me a few times. Athena as well has popped up quite a bit. Simon says, Tom, what did you think of Tony Khan's Crown Jewel New York City territory anti-WWE Saudi Arabia deal sentiment comment earlier this week? I agree that Saudi Arabia is a terrible deal. That's all I've really got. Timothy says, I'm doing great. I'm enjoying your shows. Thank you, kind. Joey says, Andrade may be another name. He's been openly unhappy about his booking. Not something I've personally heard, but that doesn't mean it's incorrect. Venom says, when will Cameron Grimes and Alba Fire get a call-up, Tom? When Triple H has a storyline ready for them. At the moment, a number of call-ups have been cancelled because of a focus on storylines and a focus on returners. So, for example, Braun Breaker was supposed to be called up a long time ago, but then Johnny Gargano, Braun Strowman, etc., etc., etc. Eddie says, I see Bryan and Cesaro too because of last Wednesday. I don't necessarily see Bryan going to WWE. Personally, I find it more likely he's going to be in a G1 at some point, but that may be wishful thinking on my part. Thomas says, what do you think Roman will be doing on SmackDown later tonight? Making fun of Logan Paul in what will be a very entertaining promo. That'll be about it. Will says, it's funny that Dave reported about the AEW release, but a week after Triple H came into power, you reported that news. Yeah. I mean, you guys know this by now. You guys know how it works. Please remember to hit like. We currently have 29 likes and 100 viewers, so please remember to hit that thumbs up. Guarantees us greater viewership, greater growth, and is a big help in finding new viewers and new subscribers. It is a help in the growth of the channel. We're currently on 1,646. We are struggling a little bit to get to that 1,650. However, we have gained more than 100 subscribers this month, so plenty of good stuff as well. Steve says, with Chris Jericho winning the Ring of Honor World Championship, could Ring of Honor be any closer to that TV or streaming deal? Jericho has that name value to put over a brand. He does, and that has a potential to be helpful. However, I don't believe at this point in time that they are going to be getting a TV deal anytime soon. They need to negotiate the AEW TV deal first, and things have not been going smoothly in that direction. Richard says, Rhonda retains or Shayna costs her, starting a feud and Rhonda heel turn. No Rhonda heel turn planned. Rhonda is a face at this point in time, and they are not going to let that go. Jaden says, no, sorry, I meant, do you think the Paige is wrestling? No, Paige is not being cleared as of this point in time, but there is still a fitness check to come in AEW. Callie says, hi Tom, hope you're well. Doing very well, Callie, welcome to the show. Pardon me. Code says, didn't Rhonda say she liked having a storyline about the championship? Yes, she did say that. She does not book the show. So she was brought back into the championship picture because someone else books the show, and it's not up to her what she gets. Connor says, hey Tom, hope you've had a good day. Had a very good day, thank you, Connor. It's been nice and chill. Got some work done. Did pretty good in the whole being at work business. Played some games. Played some Dynasty Warriors. I always like a bit of Dynasty Warriors because it's just mindless carnage, and I like that. And had a big chill, just out the bath. Feel really good. Feeling really good. Timothy says, I just joined the Discord under Big Teej. I think you may have joined it previously then under the same name, because I believe there was already a Big Teej there. Tommy says, hopefully Punk doesn't return to WWE. Triple H really not that interested in having that happen. Hector says, I assume you're doing a watch-along for SmackDown. Could be a good one tonight. I will be doing a watch-along for SmackDown. By all means, check it out. It will be starting at the beginning of SmackDown. And Joey says, thanks for the invite to the Discord. No problem. No problem. We do have a Discord, and I'm very, very happy with the community that we have there. We're not the most active in the world, but we've always got a few people chatting away, and I really like that. It's got a lot of life there, and I answer a lot of questions in the Discord that I don't necessarily answer here. So it is worth the time, I think. And at the very least, it's somewhere to hang out with like-minded wrestling fans and also differently minded wrestling fans. Spider-Ball asking for my thoughts on Jericho winning the Ring of Honor title. I think Cesaro had a bit of a bad run. Eric says, do you see Liv getting buried after she lost the belt? Nope. She wasn't getting buried before she got it. That simply isn't true. Vegeta believes Cesaro should come back. Disagree on that one. If he wants to come back, then absolutely. But I do believe he's going to do pretty well in AEW for himself, and I believe there's a number of other companies that he may well do well for as well. I just think it was a bit of a demotion going to Ring of Honor. There's no way you can convince me that that was a good thing for him long term. Timothy says, Ruby has been used awful in AEW. I've not watched enough of it to really know. I just know that she came in a House of Fire and then just thought it was forgotten about. Joey says, is CM Punk getting his contract bought out when he's no longer injured? That is the news that has come from Wade Keller of PWTorch. Thomas says, feel like AEW fans let a lot go when it comes to AEW's treatment of the women's division and the way that Jericho just wins, very similar to the way Goldberg was under Vince. Yeah, AEW fans do let a lot go. AEW has the benefit of the doubt with those fans, whereas WWE hadn't had that until the arrival of Triple H. Shadow Wolf says, sorry for asking for yet another name. Don't worry, mate. But the Cardona's in consideration for a WWE return. Not really. Not really at this point in time. Spider-Boss says, I had hype on Cesaro in AEW, but looking at his booking, I'm disappointed. He was a world champion for a while. Kieran says, to be honest, I don't think Brian cares for championships. He just wants to wrestle the best wrestlers in the world, and he's already wrestled all there is in WWE. Yes, that is absolutely accurate, and that is why I'm pretty confident he's going to New Japan. Steve says, the story was Moxley versus MJF, so Mox win did kind of make sense. I still wanted Danielson to win, though. It was a whole talking point of AEW when it first launched that it wouldn't be so obvious, and yet here we are. Joey says, the Saudi shows tend to be the worst pay-per-view of the year. Not from what I've heard over the last few. Nothing I've heard that. Jaden says, Tom, I know you don't watch the Saudi Arabia shows live, but do you watch some of the matches later? For instance, did you watch the Sasha versus Bianca versus Becky match? No. Simon is asking about Sasha. Sean says, I watch MJF interview on MMA Hour. He said there shouldn't be tribalism in wrestling and the fans should be able to enjoy any product they watch, and also said he got a money raise but didn't sign an extension. His contract is still set to expire in 2024. So what you're telling me was that MJF got exactly what he wanted and Tony Khan did what he was told. Spider-Boss says, does Charlotte cost the match to Rhonda at Extreme Rules or Rhonda win clean? I don't know. No idea. No idea. Callie says, I've seen a few reports on Facebook saying they may have a new faction with Cross, Scarlett, Strowman, Dexter and Bray. Any truth in this, as this would be amazing. The first report about a faction for Karrion Kross, yours truly. Funny how it's now popping up everywhere else, isn't it? Timothy says, love that you actually are genuine and tell the truth. I try my best, mate. I try my best. I really do. It shouldn't be difficult to just be honest about it and every now and then put your hand up and say, no idea. Shouldn't be hard. Timothy says, similar. Love that you actually are genuine and tell. I've already read that one. Venom says similar. Says, Tom, out of everyone who reports about wrestling, ever since I've come across your channel, you're one of the most legitimate and non-bullshit guys I've come across, mate. Thank you kindly. I do appreciate that. That is really nice to hear. Real nice to hear. I appreciate it. Vegeta says, any chance Paul London comes back? No, he's pretty happy as a trainer at the minute. Pretty happy. Steve says, did I hear correctly at the start of the show you'll be doing a channel update during the stream? Yes, I will. Talking over my plans for the rest of the year. Spider-Boss says, I hope fans don't get mad if Rhonda beats Liv at Extreme Rules. I find it unlikely. People seem to be very, very behind Ronda Rousey at the moment. Thomas believes that last year's Saudi pay-per-view was a great pay-per-view. Didn't watch it myself. Can't say otherwise. Now, quick thing to talk about. I want to talk about the breadcrumbs. Because I've spoken for a while about the White Rabbit concept. It isn't necessarily Bray Wyatt. It isn't. It's a whole lot of things happening at once, and if after the fact they want it to be Bray Wyatt, it can be. It echoes a lot Mustafa Ali, in fact, and the whole SmackDown hacker business. The breadcrumbs and the daisy chain and the trail and chain mixed up there. And the daisy chain and the trail going to essentially the next show and going to random coordinates. The coordinates very much echoes Mustafa Ali, so I'm wondering how much he will have been involved in this particular one. It echoes him a lot more than it echoes Bray Wyatt, for example. A lot more than it echoes Bray Wyatt. Now, going forwards, there is a lot more names that we have to discuss. However, thank you for subscribing, Hogan to the YouTube side. Very much appreciate it. However, when it comes to White Rabbit, the plan is not to make anyone debut tonight. Not in the White Rabbit mold anyway. The 923 and 923 thing, bit of a red herring. Bit of a daisy chain. The game that is on the WWE website at the moment is very much leading to Raw, suggesting, oh, you should watch SmackDown. Oh, you should watch Raw. There is a lot going on when it comes to this. It is at the moment still breadcrumbs. The final result of the White Rabbit has not been decided yet. It has not been decided yet. I just want to be clear on that. There's a piece of news for you. At the moment, right now, no one is the White Rabbit, though it does very much still point to Karrion Kross. Moxie says, Tom, I think The Fiend will return to Extreme Rules after Kross versus Drew McIntyre, and you're entitled to think that. Kieran says it's not a Tom Colohue stream, that's Simon asking about Sasha 50 times. Yeah. Hector says, Tom, I understand you're a very humble person. With all those other reporters, for better words, essentially stealing your work, is there anything you can do to prevent that? Because you deserve the recognition for all the hard work you do, instead of those reporters bashing people when they said you said it first. Yeah. Well, there's not much I can really do, to be honest. Like, if I attempt to sue, that's an option. But you can't really sue on sources. I don't believe you can steal information in this regard. Because here's the thing. I believe in a free press. This is why I don't have any news reports behind a paywall. This is why I don't have any news reports behind channel membership and so on and so forth. I believe in a free press. Part of that is that people should be able to use your information. What I personally don't like is when something that I've reported for free a couple of days later turns up behind a paywall. That's what annoys me personally. However, what I do like is a certain amount of exclusivity that comes with the news being here for free. Now, others will be out there shouting and screaming for the rooftops to their massive followings and so on and so forth, that you should only follow them, that you should only listen to them, that everyone but them is a liar. Me, I'd rather work in tandem with other reporters. I'd rather try and work together, personally. I know that that's not a popular opinion, but the main reason for that is because what I'm doing now, sharing information for free, isn't profitable. I'm not financially benefiting from the news. I know that certain people here are channel members or they donate on Twitch and so on and so forth, and I'm very grateful for that. It will hopefully one day lead to me doing this full time, but you are not paying for news. You are supporting a show. It is a very different concept. I believe in a free press, and you are supporting a free press. That's what I personally believe. So I'm not going to go out there and try and attack people for stealing what I do, but what I would love is that every now and then I still have to go out there on my Twitter and the like and say, if you want to get the news first, check it out here. Typically, if I do that, I also get attacked on Twitter, but I'm really, really happy with the amount of you guys that I've seen showing me so much support recently. So much support. I've seen so many of you sharing my platform, letting people know what we do and how we do it. And I'm so grateful to all of you for doing so. Steve says, I agree with your thoughts on Claudio. I would also agree he doesn't fit in the Blackpool Combat Club. The idea of the group was to build new stars like Wheeler Yuta. Yeah, it's definitely not doing that. Sean says, I don't know if Triple H was a fan of hers, but is there any chance Tay Mello comes back now? No, no chance at all. She does not want to return to WWE. Jared says, will your sources stronger, AEW or WWE? WWE, no question. Razar says, will Bianca versus Bayley have a stipulation? Probably. They are trying to get a lot of stipulation matches into Extreme Rules. Steve says, I still need Bryan Danielson versus Johnny Gargano versus Pete Dunne one day under the Triple H era in WWE. There are still some good options in WWE, but there are more good options elsewhere. Brad says, I don't think Dexter will be in the faction because he will be in the way. Well, someone may be showing him the way. Joey says, I'm glad Triple H is making Extreme Rules feel extreme again. He is. He very much is. Rashid says, hi there, Tom. Is there anything on NXT call-ups by War Games Survivor Series? Considering Ilya came back, you can see that Braun drops the NXT title and moves up to the main roster. Quite a number of NXT call-ups have been cancelled. I've mentioned this a few times, and this is why we're still waiting on Legado. We're still waiting on Braun. They're ready. They are ready, and quite a lot of people in the writing room want them involved. But with the returns and the amount of returns that Triple H has got happening, it has pushed a lot back. Thank you, Timothy. Appreciate that. Shadow Wolf says, is there an update on a Billie Kay return? She was gold with the resume stuff. To my knowledge at the moment, there has been contact, but nothing more than that. Venom says, what do you think would be a good face turn and a good heel turn? I think there's a good few options out there. I don't necessarily think we're going to see a great face turn from Roman, for example. I think the Kevin Owens face turn, first reported, has been very, very good. I think Sami Zayn's face turn will be absolutely incredible. As regards heel turns, it's hard to say right now, but I think some of the most obvious ones would be Sasha Banks, Naomi, turning on each other. Connor says, I love how I complained about AJ never getting follow-up on Finn joining Judgment Day, and literally a few hours later they do a backstage segment about it. Yeah, Triple H doesn't forget. Just to be clear, guys, I can see the debate happening right now, and I'm just going to step in immediately and say, Simon is entitled to ask his questions. He is free to ask his questions. Absolutely he is. Doesn't mean I have to answer them. I've already explained everything that I will with Sasha. I will not be answering further questions on it, but he is certainly entitled to ask the question. Tom's Talks Rubbish, welcome mate, says, if you stopped enjoying wrestling or felt burned out, would you have to stop covering it? By the way, has an extra episode of spoiler warning been added? Not long term, no. We had a Wednesday episode. We do have the occasional couple of episodes that just sort of pop up here or there if there's breaking news. But Monday and Friday is still the format for it. If I felt burned out, yeah, I would probably stop covering it. But what I will say is that I really enjoyed this show. So even if I wasn't that big on wrestling, I would have to burn out on streaming as well. Spider-Boss says, what's next for Asuka and Alexa Bliss? Some wrestling. Monique says, I thought it could be Mustafa Ali. Yep, there are certainly some similarities to how it's laid out. Austin says, when is Extreme Rules? 2 weekends away on the 8th, I believe. Venom says, when do you see Bray coming back? Great question. Riyadh says, hey Tom, hope you had a great day. Wondering if you more or less know what the plans are for Theory and the Money in the Bank contract. I do not. I don't. So when it comes to Money in the Bank, I knew what the situation was. The plan was, when Vince McMahon was in charge, for Austin Theory to be involved in a SummerSlam main event and lose. But plans change, Triple H turns up, lots of things happening at once. Fireball says, I truly enjoy the situation of Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. You and me both. Razar says, what's up with the Seth and Riddle poster? People are saying they saw a lantern or hourglass on it in the background. There is a lantern or hourglass on it in the background. So I thank you very much for stepping in there. You are absolutely right. Asking the same question continually, it's not going to make me answer the question. It's going to make me ignore most of the things you say. It's going to make me automatically skip past anything you say if you're constantly asking the same thing, just so you know that. Steven says, NXT need a large, big crowd at Halloween Havoc coming up October 22, 2022. Not absolutely guaranteed, because they do pretty well with the crowds that they've got. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. Simon, stop shouting. Patrick says, can WWE Superstar do Twitch now again? Yep. Spider-Ball says, Index Indy Hartwell will show Dexter Lumis the way. Sean says, possible a call for Mandy was cancelled. It was. I can say that for a fact. Joey says, I wonder if the PC is getting a new setup since they taped the recent shows. Yep, seems likely. Tom says, just thinking if Triple H was in charge when Kurt was having his final match, do you think it would be more likely for him to get Cena? Nope. It would still very much be Baron Corbin. Triple H was one of the people pushing for Baron Corbin to be the one. Baron Corbin is extremely popular with management and extremely popular backstage. He is someone that they really have big plans for. He's just been so reliable that they haven't got around to doing it. Monique would love a Naomi heel turn. I've mentioned it before, I'll mention it one more time. I can see Naomi turning on Sasha and joining the Bloodline, and I'd very much like to see that. Venom says, ever since Candice screwed over Ciampa, I've been waiting for him to hit her with a fairy tale ending. Still not allowed. Still not allowed. KJ, how you doing, mate? Says the debate. I'm not involved for once. What's up, Tom? I mean, nail on the head there, mate. Nail on the head. Spider-Boss says, last time Sasha was in tag team, her partner Bayley turned on her. If Naomi turns on Sasha, would be the second time Sasha would get betrayed by her tag team partners. It would be more than the second time. Tom, I sometimes do Sunday shows. I haven't done a Sunday show in a long time because I have a family now, so I prefer my Sundays to be family orientated. But we are where we are. Bayley says, Tom, your thoughts on the Fightful article, which suggests WWE will enforce a 2-year period for recruits to move up to NXT or be cut. They are unlikely to enforce a flat 2-year limit. It is very much still in the question of, can we use them? Have they progressed as much as we wanted? There isn't technically a time limit. Joey says, do you think Austin Theory could drop the briefcase to Johnny or someone else? He could if they book him to do so. Connor says, what's your opinion on Damage Control's theme? I hate it, I won't lie. I like it. I was the only person to report it was coming as well. Spider-Boss says, which pay-per-views in the past would you like to see Triple H bring back? Judgment Day. I think since we've got Judgment Day would be a great pay-per-view. Hector says, Tom, have you heard any updates on Charlotte? She's been gone since May, and to be honest, she's been missed. I wouldn't mind if Charlotte came back to feud with Liv. A non-title feud could help build Liv even more, especially if she loses to Rhonda. They are rebuilding and rebranding Charlotte, and they've not worked out exactly how to do it yet. Will says the great part about the bloodline and Sammy is that it's going to be heartbreaking when they turn on him. So sort of like the Festival of Friendship, do you feel? I can feel Festival of Friendship vibes coming. Riyadh says, Tom, do you think the draft is more likely to return in 2023 than this year? No, I do not. KJ says, hey Tom, say if Punk left AEW or was released / bought out, whatever may happen, do you think WWE would be interested? Nope. Tommy says you can trust Corbin. That is a good thing for Corbin that WWE trust him. They trust him massively. Hogan says, speaking of Corbin, what are the plans with he and JBL? None. There are no plans with him and, JBL. Brad Becker says, if you could have any return that hasn't been reported, who would it be? Joe. Though it's hard to say that hasn't been reported because, hi. Venom says Sasha would destroy Naomi unless she was booked not to. Joey asks a question about Sasha. Connor says Naomi can hold her own. People really underestimate her. Yes, that is true. Venom says, what do you think will be the babyface team for War Games in the NXT side? They won't be an NXT side. It is Raw versus SmackDown, kind of. Steve says, I'm looking forward to learning the Corbin and JBL link that hinted at a few weeks ago on SmackDown. I'd imagine JBL is his financial backer. Keith O'Toole says, 2 shocking things I saw on Dynamite. 1, Moxley becoming 2-time, 3-time, AEW champion. It's 3-time, mate. And 2, Jericho wins Ring of Honor heavyweight title. Stuart says, Tom, do you reckon the Chase U gimmick could work on the main roster? Think it would be something to get a larger arena doing the shtick. I don't even know what you're talking about, to be completely honest. Devil says, any chance we see a shock upset tonight regarding the tag titles? I'm just sick of the bloodline now. Nope. Tom Talks Rubbish says, do you think with Triple H in charge, and I remember him and Batista pushing for Hell in a Cell match at Mania, he will get rid of it as a pay-per-view? He already has. It's gone, mate. It's gone. Spider-Boss says, I see Roman saying to Sammy, thanks for your job, you're fired, then the Usos beat up Sammy. Could happen. I also kind of hope that what actually happens is Jey Uso gets kicked out. I don't think that's impossible. Moni says, with the bloodline, Naomi would be unstopped. And unstoppable indeed. Kervin, welcome, says Tony Khan needs to make everybody happy is going to be difficult. It's going to be impossible. You can't make everybody happy. It's just not possible. Spider-Boss says, how long will Pat McAfee be out of SmackDown? A couple more weeks. Rashid said, if you could swap one superstar from AEW to WWE and vice versa, who would you choose to make the switch? Adam Cole would be the one to come back. Asgard's moving over. Someone that they're not using to their full potential. Chad Gable. Venom, who's reported that? Who's reported that you're getting War Games for both? Stephen, don't forget to share your sources, because I haven't heard anything about that personally. Steve says, no, you don't usually cover Impact Wrestling, but who would you like to be Mickie James's final opponent if you could choose? I'd like to see another match of Asuka. Personally, I think it'll be Trish. Jaden said it's so weird that Naomi's rating on 2K22 is 79 while she's a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. A lot of people are SmackDown Women's Champions, and a lot of people have done a lot more recently. Hector says, I think you're onto something there, Tom, with JBL being the reason Corbin is rich and he's not returning on the investment. If this gets us mustard stained sad Corbin, sign me up. Bayley says Pat McAfee will be out through the end of the NFL regular season, which is the end of the year. Tom says, didn't know that. Sorry for a silly question. You don't need to. There are no silly questions, mate. If I don't want to answer a question, I won't. Who is your favourite commentary team? I still think that Michael Cole and Corey Graves is the best commentary team, though Pat McAfee has grown on me. Connor says, hoping that Liv gets a new theme for heel turn comes to fruition. Her theme screams babyface. You say that, but we'll see. We'll see. Venom, I didn't say anything about winning championships. You said she will be destroyed by Sasha. I said not if she's not booked to. You can be booked in a match without being booked to win a championship. So, a channel update. Just a little update on the channel, what our plans are for the rest of the year and what you can expect going forwards. Please remember to hit like, subscribe if you haven't already. We need two more to hit 1,650. We are currently chasing someone. We've gained more than 100 subscribers this month. We're on track for about 130, which will be our second biggest month ever of growth on this channel. And I want to overtake people, but also I kind of don't. Some of you will get what I mean. Also, I kind of don't. So, just a quick update on what you're likely to see for the channel going forwards. You may note that I've been putting a bit more breaking news onto the channel recently, and this has been working in my favour and also not in my favour. YouTube, realising that I'm not just a live channel anymore, has been advertising the live shows less. So I've had a few less views on the live shows. We're gaining subscribers on the live shows a little slower. That's okay. It is also advertising the news videos that we're putting out there. We're gaining more views on those and more subscribers there as well. We are going to be continuing with breaking news videos as and when we are able to. That does also mean every now and then a shock live show, similar to what we saw on Wednesday for the Bray Wyatt news. What I'm aiming for the end of this year is 2,000 subscribers. 2,000 subscribers. That means we are about 350 subscribers away, and we just have just over 3 months to do so. So to be clear, my target is 100 subscribers per month. We are averaging at the moment about 5 new subscribers per day. Shouldn't be that difficult, should be achievable, but we are changing the content slightly to suit that. I also really enjoyed making the video about Bray Wyatt. I don't mean the live video, I mean my What Happened to Bray Wyatt video. It had a very, very good reception, had a lot of comments, lots of views, lots of likes, and just really did well. So long form content may be in my future a little more. If you guys have any suggestions, shout them out. I'm not planning to review like old pay-per-views. Those videos are everywhere. The competition's too steep and I have nothing original to say. Nothing original to say on it. So things like the breakdown of what happened with Bray Wyatt, certainly viable. Long form news from backstage, I can certainly put some feelers out for maybe questions that have been asked and not fully been answered. I could break down what happened with Paige, for example, so on and so forth. So any further ideas, you're welcome to it. Once we're after the fact, I may even do one on Sasha Banks and Naomi, because I feel a lot of people would be interested with that as well. So that's the plan going forwards. We're aiming for 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. There'll be more breaking news videos, which means the actual live videos, the actual live shows may be a little less viewed and a little less attended, but that's okay because we're still growing based on those breaking news videos and more long form content, such as the Bray Wyatt video. Patrick, that's a great idea. I can look into that. I will take a note of that, actually, right now. NXT UK. That's a great idea. Thank you kindly for that one. I'm sure there's plenty more that I just haven't seen yet, but we'll dive into that. That's the channel update. Nothing particularly serious, just that the content is going to change ever so slightly. If you're a subscriber and you've rung the bell and you're not interested in the breaking news videos, by all means, skip them. If you're a subscriber and you're not interested in the long form content, by all means, skip it. Spoiler warning, will still be Monday and Friday, with the possibility, as always, of random shows in between. Okay, Alyssa, welcome. Says, why is Liv Morgan going to drop the belt back to Rhonda? The rumour is Ronda Rousey doesn't want to become champion. Ronda Rousey isn't booking the show. She isn't booking the show, so she does as she is told. And that is a rumour from an interview that she actually put through. As regards Liv Morgan, people backstage are not happy with the audience reaction. Jaden, you got to stop calling people annoying. Everyone needs to chill. I think Simon's chilled. We've got that. Simon's chilled. But as I say, Simon is entitled to ask his questions. I just don't necessarily have to answer them. It doesn't really hurt you if someone is asking a question. Honestly, I thought we were in on the joke there. I thought it was a bit of fun, like the way thing. I like having Simon here. We get a chat rate boost. He has some good questions at times, and the energy is real good. So, I like having all of you here. There's only one time we've had to actually kick someone out who was a member of the community. Way back when. Most people here won't even know. But this is how it started. Take a breath, guys. We're all in this together. Spider-Boss says, could we see a rematch between Damage Control versus Raquel and Aaliyah? Or Damage Control defend the tag team titles against Asuka and Alexa? We are likely to see both. We're going to see a lot of tag team championship matches. Joey says, do you think Shayna and Rhonda will be paired together? Yes, I said that they would be after WrestleMania, and I stand by it. Keith O'Toole says, will Rock versus Roman ever happen at WrestleMania next year? I get asked about The Rock a lot as well. There has been no actual match booked in for The Rock. He is not booked down to have a match at WrestleMania or at any other point at this point in time. Tom says, if you know didn't happen, how long do you think CM Punk would have been in AEW? I don't understand what you've said there, Tom. Would you be able to rephrase for me? Venom says, I'm 1,000,000% sure Bray isn't coming back tonight. Cool. Well done you. Connor says, I found your channel by pure coincidence when you did a video about Liv and Money in the Bank. Very glad I found this community. Not only is the news reliable, but it's fun to chill out here with everyone. Thank you, Connor. That video did not do well. Like, technically, that video did not do well at all. But it brought you to the channel here. You've been here. You've asked loads of questions. I've gotten to know you a little bit. So it did brilliantly. Spider-Ball says, I truly enjoy seeing how Roman has improved on the mic since he returned in 2020. Roman went from being roasted by Cena in 2017 to now being untouchable in promos. I agree, though we did sort of duck out of John Cena in 2021. Tom says, good luck on 2,000 subscribers, a true inspiration to me. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that, mate. Keith O'Toole says, I'm amazed Randy Orton spent so long away from WWE. He's injured. It's not really his choice. Hector says, Tom, I know you don't ever want to put your show behind a paywall, but if approached, would you ever consider doing paid ads like, say, Manscaped or potentially something you're into, or no? Yeah, sponsorship I would certainly consider, mostly because I think most of the people here would be willing to just, let it happen. I don't think many people would be interested in actually buying the products, so it has to be a sponsorship rather than an affiliate link. I've been approached by some gambling communities. I'm not interested in them. But essentially, they want me to put links and promote it and play the game on stream and be like, okay, well, I get paid per however 100 many of you join. I'm not going to do that. A sponsorship is a sponsorship. People want to pay me to advertise. I'll consider doing it on the basis that I think most of the people here will still give me the goodwill, so that if an ad randomly pops up, no one's going to be particularly upset if they see an ad out of nowhere. That just, if something randomly happens. You guys know that ads are part of my livelihood. You guys know that. And it makes a big difference. Thomas says, hi Tom, how would you feel on doing a series on how you would book different situations from past and also do present and future stories? I wouldn't hate it, but rebooking, there are people who do that better than me. It's out there a lot. I wouldn't mind it, but I don't necessarily think I'm creative enough for it. Bismo says, Tom, appreciate what you brought us when it comes to wrestling news. A cool, calm, relaxing view on stuff you're hearing, not a knock on others. Just enjoy your zen-like quality. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to stay chill and calm. Tommy suggests the rise and fall of CM Punk in AEW could be a good video idea. Ooh, absolutely. There is a lot of information that hasn't been shared about Punk backstage that you may enjoy hearing. Joey says maybe videos about exclusive plans for NXT EU or other expansion that no one else is reporting. That's what spoiler warning is, so I won't be doing that. Eric says, I remember you said Liv might go heel, so can Johnny show her the way? Ooh, didn't consider that. Spider-Boss says, could we say Liv's title reign has become some sort of Nikki Ash thing? It did immediately, yes. Steve says, hi Tom, Steve Englund, how you doing, mate? It's a lovely fall Friday here. Do you know if the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches will be done on top of the War Games, or are the War Games replacing them? The War Games are replacing them. Connecting, welcome, mate. Says, love to see you all connecting. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, connecting. Great to see you, mate. Vegeta says, Aaliyah is hurt. No, she is at the moment, yes, but it may be a brief thing. Keith says, does anyone see Moxley and Danielson wrestle the best match ever on Dynamite? Did anyone see that? I didn't, gotta be honest. Steve says, sounds good. Direction going forward for the channel, mate. Hope you reach and achieve your goals. Very deserving. Thank you very much, Steve. I hope very much the same for yourself. Tom says, if the drama didn't happen, how long do you think CM Punk would have been in AEW? How would you like his run to end? I didn't think he'd last as long as he has. I gotta be honest, I didn't think he'd last this long. It just didn't make sense to me. Flight risk, as I said. Thank you very kindly, Jeremy Miller, for subscribing on the YouTube side. Every subscription does help us reach our goals, and I'm very grateful to all of you who have subscribed. Spider-Boss says, I found spoiler warning looking for Sasha news after SummerSlam 2021, and I enjoy spoiler warning every week. There was a very rich vein of form when it comes to Sasha news around that period. Connecting says, your show with Nick Barbati is behind a paywall and it's worth it. Not anymore. As of 2 weeks ago, the Nick and Tom's Intercontinental Adventure moved from behind the paywall to the Pro Wrestling Torch cast, the live cast, the Saturday show. It is free for subscribers to the PWTorch live cast. It pops into your inbox every Saturday. You'll get a couple of ads in it, but it is absolutely free. Nick and Tom's Intercontinental Adventure is now an absolutely free show, and it will also be put onto the YouTube channel as well. I've been talking to Wade Keller. I'm looking for permission to get Nick and Tom's Intercontinental Adventure onto this YouTube channel, potentially a day later, but I think it would be good content, and I think it would help people find it. Vegeta says, I found the channel too. You do a great job, Tom. Thank you, Vegeta. Joey says, an ad just popped up when you were talking about it. Did it? Did that happen? I mean, it's not like there's a button I press or anything. Spider-Boss says, Bayley versus Alexa on Raw was cool. In some form, Bayley got her revenge from a match of Alexa from 2017. That was a while back. Alyssa says, why are people saying The Rock is coming back? Because wrestling journalists are all saying that. Because The Rock's name gets clicks. Venom says, do you think Dragunov could win the NXT title in a triple threat match? Yep. Sean says, someone asked earlier if you could swap one AEW star for one WWE star. Say Moxley to WWE, Miz to AEW. All the Miz would be fantastic in AEW. Code says, will War Games become a once-a-year thing and just be exclusive to Survivor Series? Probably yes. I don't think it'll necessarily be entirely exclusive, but we'll see how it goes. Joey says, will Raquel get a gimmick change away from the smiley stuff? Hopefully, because it's not good. Thomas says, do you think that we will still see Lashley versus Gunter, or is that looking unlikely? It's looking less likely, but it's not looking unlikely. Raymond says, hi Tom, just logged on. What did I miss? Well, we talked about Paige's wrestling status. We talked about William Regal and Samoa Joe. We talked about more people in AEW asking for their releases. We talked about the breadcrumbs for the White Rabbit and a little update on the show. Plus, of course, answering lots of questions. Welcome, mate. Razar says the fall of NXT Black and Gold would be a fun video on how AEW played a role in it. Possibly. That's also not a bad shout. I'll take a note of that. NXT Black and Gold. Speaking of Nick and Tom's Intercontinental Adventure, we actually did an hour-long podcast on this exact subject, which I do think is some of our best work, so I'll see if I can maybe find that. Connor says, I think the rise and fall could be a series. Maybe even going in depth explaining why a wrestler completely fell off the map with creative, like Shayna, for example. That's really simple, though. Vince didn't like her. There's your video. Sad but true. Joey says, what are your thoughts on the GTA 6 leak? I'm excited for it. The images are, of course, nowhere near finished, but I like what I've seen. Ben says Kevin Owens versus Tommaso Ciampa in a pay-per-view match could be a banger. Hell of a lot of matches could be bangers at this point in time. Bismo says CM Punk probably ruined his chance of ever working for a big promotion ever again, just due to his unprofessionalism. People also said that when he left the WWE in 2014. Tommy says that was the best ad timing ever. Was it? Indeed. Eric is saying Adam Cole and Swerve are snitches. We don't have... I believe the report for that is still the moderator of the Wrestling Observer Forum, unless you have a different source there, Eric. Welcome, mate. Connecting says, it would be an honour to put some Intercontinental Adventure clips on my channel. Let's chat about it. I mean, potentially. I mean, if it ends up on YouTube and if it's on the free thing, you can clip it as much as you want. As long as it's got the title on there and maybe a link, I'd be very happy with you using it however you wish. It's free content. If you want to clip it, if you want to cut it, you want to put it elsewhere, you go right ahead. Sai says, good to see Tom getting due credit, but thanks to all for making this a great, informed and mutually supportive community. Thank you, Sai. Very well said. Simon says, Tom, have you watched the Rings of Power and or House of Dragon yet? Not yet. I'm waiting for them both to sort of finish the season so I can jump into it. Spider-Boss says, Raquel Rodriguez would be a great monster heel. You say that. We'll see how it goes. Vegeta says, I hope Ilya Dragunov does win so Braun can move up. Hector says, keyword, if we see The Rock at a WWE pay-per-view, he'll be talking or cutting a promo, too valuable to risk getting hurt considering how much he's worth. Well, he does still have a say in that, just to be clear. KJ says, would you say the top-tier booking of Punk by Khan helped his rant? Yeah. I mean, it's easy when you're the champion. Spider-Boss says, I never liked the Bayley This Is Your Life segment. Nobody did. Literally nobody. Even Vince hated it by the end. Rodney says, you think WWE will open up the forbidden door? Nope, there is no benefit to them in doing so. No benefit whatsoever. There was no real benefit to New Japan. It's not really helped New Japan strong. There was no benefit at all to Impact, apart from a couple of pay-per-view main events that gave them a big rating and then dropped again like a stone. The only real benefit was to AEW, who already have a roster and don't really need to claim anyone else's. Connor says, only issue is that Liv is on SmackDown and Judgment Day is Raw. Yeah, but that's not really an issue anymore, is it? Spider-Boss says, what is the worst segment you've ever seen in WWE? I've watched people give birth to hands. You all don't know shit about bad segments. Michael says, the Acclaimed are so over. Used to hate them, but they're so entertaining that I really like them now. Very true of just sort of standard wrestling. Look at the New Day. Like, the New Day should be some of the most annoying people in wrestling. But annoying gets over. Look at The Rock. You could not get any better example than The Rock for that. That has been spoiler warning. We will be hosting a live watch-along of SmackDown later on today. So please do check it out, starting right at the beginning of SmackDown here on YouTube and on Twitch as well. Until then, I'm going to have a chill. Going to play a game. Going to have a drink. And I'm going to relax. I'm going to see all of you, hopefully, later tonight. I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic. And I'll see you all very soon.